Hello YouTube and welcome back to another episode of the Mich&Rich Show. We'll be reviewing the new movie Avatar Fire and Ash. So just to start with maybe some of my positive notes, the characters in this are as real as they get. You get to see the character development throughout the two other movies and how it affects them in that particular movie. And it was absolutely beautifully written. I will never doubt James Cameron again when it comes to the Avatar movies. More to the positive note, the world building, the way they just add certain characters that just flesh out the world of Avatar, absolutely incredible. 10 out of 10 in terms of world building and character development, especially since the first Avatar kind of fell flat when it came to story and character development. It felt like a kumbaya, white man comes and saves everyone. And this still had a small kind of similarity to that. But of course, those are James Cameron's movies. There's going to be the good and the bad. So speaking of the bad, initially I thought the 3-hour runtime was going to be a little bit too much, but in the midst of watching, I thought, oh, I must be halfway, and I looked down and it was already 2 hours. So the setup, although long, it is definitely worth the payoff, but bad. I think the Colonel has outstayed his welcome, and if he's still alive in Avatar 4, I'm going to be very upset, because at this point in time they've had multiple opportunities to kill him, and every time they decide to let him live, he does something that destroys millions of lives. It's almost like that question about Batman and Joker. Is Batman to blame for some of the lives that the Joker has taken, because he hasn't put a permanent stop to him and he knows what he's going to do? It felt very similar in this movie, where there were ample times for Jake or any of his family members to kill him, but they had just shortly worked together previously, and I don't know if Jake was hoping to change him. Well, he was hoping to change him. He gave him speech after speech, and it slightly started to resonate with the Colonel, but at the same time, he was still the whole object of the Colonel is he's the Colonel. He's not going to concede or give in because there's a better way of life. He thinks those people are weak and traitors. That should have been obvious to Jake Sully and the rest of his family. Now, another thing that I kind of didn't like was the spider scene, and I'm trying not to get into spoilers too much. So the spider scene where he develops a new ability, we'll just say, I think it was just so cheesy. I think there was definitely a better way to write that in. I don't like the idea of future human beings being able to live on Pandora without oxygen masks. That just makes Pandora open to a wide spread of the human cancer, I would say. So those are kind of the only things that I didn't like. The runtime, it was worth it. I'm gonna be honest. The exposition behind it, it was definitely worth it. Seeing these characters' bonds, and in addition, you didn't exactly know where the movie was going, and that's my one critique of all movies. If I can predict the middle and end, you don't have a good movie. Now I could predict the beginning, but the middle and end kind of got sketchy. Was Colonel going to switch sides? Was he not? Was the Colonel going to turn against the military? Was he not? So these are all things that you should all go out and watch the movie to experience for yourself. So in terms of story in this one, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. I'm very, very particular about my story. I do not give a lot of 10s out. Birdman is probably one of the few stories that I gave a 10 to. Definitely check that out if you haven't. But all in all, I think it was a great movie. I think that everybody should go watch it. I think it tackles a lot of difficult topics to speak about, like racism. Of course, this is blue people being racist to humans instead of, the whole outdated black and white type of situation. So I think in terms of what you can learn from the movie, you can bring your kids and they'll learn something for it. Now, sacrifice. I always think there should be a sacrifice in the movie, and I don't believe any major characters died. the sea avatar people, or the sea Navi. The head clansman woman, she dies after giving birth. So that is the one loss that we experience in this movie, but compare it to the second Avatar, The Way of Water, where we lose Jake Sully's first son, it doesn't have that big of an impact. And especially with how dramatic this movie was, how many different Navi characters were in this movie, you expected a lot more death. Now, the final thing that I wanted to talk about, the final thing that I wanted to kind of analyze on my negative review on it, was the way Oa worked. So Oa has always been this neutral entity that takes care of the planet holistically over a group of people. And I think that established that she is a chaotic neutral, not a chaotic good, not an orderly good, a chaotic neutral, which means she plays no roles in the matter of Pandora. And it was acceptable when she would, for instance, in the first movie, when she let all the animals fight with the Na'vi. So that was just Na'vi versus an alien entity. So that's understandable why Oa would want to stand firm with her planet and our people, knowing the amount of destruction that the humans have already caused. Now, the one problem I have with this, in the third movie, again, I'm trying to avoid spoilers as best as possible, is she chose a side. She was no longer chaotic neutral. So that just kind of, is Oa evolving? Is Oa, like, we need more explanation on Oa. Instead, she's being used as a ex machina in a sense. When the battle's completely lost, that's when she jumps in and helps them. And if it's just a point of she's hoping they'll win, and she's hoping she doesn't have to pick a side, and then once she sees she has to pick a side, that's when she picks her own people. Still, there were Na'vi fighting with the military, and she indiscriminately killed them as well. So that's her own people. So she's breaking her own rules that she essentially set up, which is the only thing that I don't like about the movie. Aside from that, I think overall I give the movie an 8 out of 10. It's definitely a must watch. It's definitely a blockbuster. And James Cameron has done it again. The world building, beautiful. Character development, beautiful. Story in itself has improved dramatically since the first Avatar. I think the second Avatar, The Way of Water, was kind of stagnant. It had its ups and downs, especially when the characters lost somebody important to them. You could see partially how much that traumatized them, and that was furthered in this movie. So I don't think the Avatar series does well on a standalone movie, with the exception of Avatar Ash and Fire. This is the one movie that can stand alone. The other movies, they have to kind of be watched together for you to get a complete understanding of what Pandora is and what the story is about. It's not about a white savior that comes to rescue all the Na'vi. It's about somebody from a different culture, understanding the culture that he's become a part of, and wanting to do anything he can to protect that from the people he knows will destroy it. And yeah, that's just a beautiful story. So tell me what you guys think. If you've seen it yet, if you're going to go see it, definitely, again, I highly suggest going to go watch it. And yeah, tell me what I should make a video about next. Maybe I'll do Sinners.